Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Comic Book Users. Welcome to another episode of the show. Today we're going back to Warren Magazine Publishing once again. A little look inside the cover of Creepy, number 13. This is an oldie, folks. This is one I got just a couple months back. And I've just kind of gone through this and wanted to kind of show you guys the inside. Look at that. Available for the first time in 8mm home movies of Batman. Right, no doubt this is the Batman cereal, right? Black and white cereal, pretty cool stuff. So here we go. We got, and this is from 1966, the year of my birth, actually. So here we got Creepy's Loathsome Lore on the inside, then of course your table of contents. What's interesting is that you have this cool kind of werewolf on the front, and of course it says illustrated terror tales designed to plunge you into ultimate fright. I really wish there was some werewolf stuff in here, though, because quite frankly the only real werewolf in the entire magazine is in this Loathsome Lore frontispiece here. That's a shame. But what do we got here? We got publisher James Warren, of course, assistant to the publisher Richard Conway, editor Archie Goodwin, right? Archie got around back in the day. Cover done by Gray Morrow, lettering Ben Oda. Staff artist, we got Dan Atkins, Eugene Colin. I think we know that name, Eugene, right? Otherwise known as Gene Colin. Johnny Craig, Reed Crandall, Steve Ditko, Frank Frazetta, Jerry Grandinetti, Rocco Mastroserio, Gray Morrow, Joe Orlando, John Severin, Angela Torres, Alex Toth, Al Williamson, and Wallace Wood. Of course, Wally Wood. So a lot of folks worked on the Creepy magazine that we know from other places like Marvel and DC. So we've got a whole host of stories here. We got the letters page. We got the Squaw, okay, is the first story. And the Squaw is time to rush into the loathsome rabid readers, snake a slimy tentacle up to the shock shelf, and dust off another creepy classic. This month's awful offering is Bram Stoker's shivering short story, The Squaw. Okay, so this is an interesting little story about, some well-to-do folks who are sitting here chit-chatting. Down below, they happen to see a mama cat and her kitten just kind of playing around. Mama cat's trying to teach the kitten, and the one guy's kind of joking around a little bit. He's like, he goes, "Oh, isn't it cute? She's teaching the kitten to play." And the other guy goes, "Right, purty critters, let's have a little fun with them. Oh, be careful, you might hit them." So he picks up a rock. He goes, "Shucks, ma'am, I'd as soon scalp a baby as hurt an animal. I'll just drop it near and they'll wonder where it came from." So what does he do? He drops the rock down, and of course it hits the kitten and kills the kitten. So, of course, the mother cat is really upset, looks up with hate in her eyes, tries to scratch up the wall there, because, of course, it looks like they're like in an old fort or something like that. And but, the guy kind of feels bad, but kind of not. And he's, he's just kind of clowning around. And then the woman, then the other guy are like, "Oh, it looks like that cat wants to kill you." And he's like, "I've never seen an animal behave such," because the cat, of course, is trying to claw its way up the wall, as though she could kill you with her eyes. Looks like positive murder. Goes, "Excuse me, ma'am, but I can't help laugh and fancy a man who's fought grizzlies and Injuns being murdered by a cat." Right. So the cat, of course, is gonna kind of follow them around a little bit. So now here they go through this whole like fortress. It's almost like kind of like a big museum. We have those all over the world, right? And here's this like old sarcophagus. It's basically an Iron Maiden, right? So he's looking at the Iron Maiden and going to open it up and looking at the spikes and whatnot. And of course this guy he's pretty full of himself, right? So of course, as all this is going on, he's like, "I'm gonna go in it. Let me go step in it." And then the cat reappears. And what does the cat do? The cat, it's like a security guard in the room. And the cat jumps up at the security guard. The security guard bumps into the outer part of the Iron Maiden. And guess what happens? The Iron Maiden closes with the asshole who killed her kitten inside. And then the blood drips out and the cat goes and drinks the blood. So that is the first story. Let's see. What else we got here? Then we got, this is kind of a cool story called Early Warning. Okay. With a guy who, it's snowing outside, and he happens to witness a murder, and then he goes up to check on the woman who was murdered, and of course then all the townspeople show up. Tala, that's enough. And they think he's the one who did it, so of course he's running away. And he kind of notices that they think he's a vampire. As it turns out, the entire town doesn't necessarily think he's a vampire because they are vampires. So the entire town is filled with, there's more to it than that. But anyway, you get the point here. Here we go. Then next story is called Screen Test. I should be naming all who draws these. So Screen Test is art by Angelo Torres, script by John Benson and Bob Stewart. And the first story, The Squaw, was art by Reed Crandall, adaptation by Archie Goodwin. And then Early Warning, Jerry Grandetti, was art, script by Archie Goodwin. And then, like I said, Screen Test, Angelo Torres and John Benson and Bob Stewart. So here, this is pretty interesting about an old movie theater that looks to be abandoned, that this lady would like to take over, but the owners are still kind of milling about, right? And the owner, and the theater shut down, is obsessed with Lon Chaney Sr. So this is kind of cool because you got really cool art here intermixed with stills from some of the old classic Lon Chaney films. And he still has the pipe organ there. And she's just kind of wondering, what happened? Why did this movie theater shut down? Why is this guy so obsessed with Lon Chaney? And again, he doesn't really want to sell the theater, still plays the organ. Why does he still play the organ? Well, because he is the Phantom. In the end, she goes and takes off his mask because she didn't know it was a mask at first. I must know the truth, and boom. That's why he's so obsessed. So then we got Method in the Madness, about a guy. This art by Rocco Mastroserio, script by Carl Wessler. And this is about a guy who's going into prison, or in prison. He feels he doesn't belong in with all the other crazy people. All right. In you go, Henry. This is your new home. Mustn't overdo anything. Got to play it carefully here when they hear where they live with madmen, right? So he's all concerned about where they're going to put him in prison, right? All was gray, the dank, drab day of the dreary buildings behind the grim walls of the asylum where a judge had decreed Henry Belmont was to live out the rest of his life. All right. So he's basically, I don't belong in with all these nut jobs, right? So basically his whole shtick is he's going to complain that his life is being threatened everywhere they put him. Right? So no matter where they put him, he's going to complain, got to move me, so they keep moving him somewhere else. And so then they move him into a padded cell. Even in the padded cell, he thinks that, people are out to get him. So, it's funny because in the beginning he lets them know, it's like, I don't really belong here, I'm perfectly fine. But in the end, he is just going completely mad and bonkers to the point where the last panel here, they're like, shortly the screaming stopped and the doctors were able to complete the test. I fear, gentlemen, we badly misjudged Henry Belmont. His brain looks perfectly normal to me. Unquestionably, doctor, perfectly normal. So what they did was they sedated him, put him out, and took his brain out, right? Because they thought he went completely nuts. But then the kind of crypt keeper guy goes, fellow inmates, everyone at Hannaford adjusted so well to their surroundings that even the staff was nuts. What a crazy story. But if you're not insane over this one, try my next mind bender. Right? Then we've got the Creepy Fan Club. Okay, then we got Gene Colan art here. So here we got, or Eugene Colan as he's called here, script by Archie Goodwin. This is called Fear in the Stone. It's kind of cool there. You instantly notice Gene Colan artwork. Very, very cool, right? So this is about a guy who sees this older guy who can actually create works of art made out of stone. Right, so this is one aspiring artiste who comes upon these kind of creations, and he's like, oh, wow, these look so authentic, they look so real. So then he meets the guy who created them, called Demetrius, and he's got to know his secret. So what does he do? He goes and follows the artist or the sculptor Demetrius, and then he sees Demetrius kind of get friendly with a bum out in the streets and proceeds to give him alcohol. And he's like, oh, what is he doing? And Demetrius takes the homeless guy back to his place. And so Demetrius, walking around very secretly. So the one guy is like, oh, I have to find out what's going on here. What are his secrets? But of course, as he's snooping around his home or his building, warehouse, whatever, where he keeps all his stuff from the museum, Demetrius is onto him, and he sees. It's like, why have you been? I told you the strain of ancient Greece runs in me. You're not easily fooled. Don't you think I knew when you followed me? Didn't you think I'd be prepared? Don't give me any trouble, old man. I'm cracking open this box. It's time you shared your precious secret to how you create all your statues. He goes, exactly my intention, but why ruin the box when you can use my key? It's like, here, because he's got a secret box in place where he creates all this stuff. So basically, he gives him the key. Go ahead, open up the box. Go open up the box, which the guy does, and inside the box is the head of Medusa, turning him into stone. So that's basically how Demetrius makes all these statues, right? He actually goes and kidnaps people that nobody will ever miss, has them look into the box. There's the Medusa head, turns him to stone, and there you have his statue for his display, right? So of course, that's how he does it, right? Fun story there. And then we got Adam Link, Gangbuster. Art by Joe Orlando, script by E. Neil Binder from his original story. And, I'm trying to remember what this story was about. Oh, this is about kind of like a superhero story, but instead of being a superhero, he's basically the guy's a robot. Okay, but he's got feelings and relationships and all that sort of stuff. And this whole story is of him going after bad guys and them trying to kill the robot. So there you can see all of his human traits, all the skin and all that kind of stuff comes off. There he is, the actual robot. And then as I look outside, it's snowing like mad outside all of a sudden. And then, can you actually kill the robot, right? Not the greatest of stories, but then here you have all sorts of horror photos and prints and things like that. Great advertisements in these. All sorts of cool stuff. And then, here you go. One more story, which I don't remember, is this one even titled anything? Yeah, Second Chance. This one's kind of like a psychedelic thing. Here's art by Steve Ditko, script by Archie Goodwin. Okay, this is just basically a story about making a deal with the devil. How cool is that Steve Ditko art, right? In black and white. Pretty neat. Again, if you're a fan of Ditko's work on Doctor Strange and Strange Tales, way back when, right around the same time, this looks right at home, except you're not getting all of the colors, but the kind of the psychedelic nature of it is there. Very cool. Don't make a deal with the devil, folks. We got some masks, back issues, Superboy, Batman, statues, back issue to Creepy. Cool stuff. I mean, these magazines are well worth it if you've never checked them out. Lots of fun. So, yeah, that is Creepy number 13. If you've read this one, let us know what you think, or if you have any thoughts on creepy at all. And if any of these episodes on creepy and eerie and Vampirella have made you want to go out and buy some of these old Warren magazines, I highly recommend them. They're a lot of fun. You can get them out there, fairly inexpensively. Some of them are expensive. I think the Vampirella ones are a lot more expensive than creepy and eerie, but these you can get out there. I think some of these, I don't think I paid more than $10 for any of the ones that I picked up. I picked up a stack of 20 some odd of them, and most of them were in the kind of like $5 range. So some even less. So yeah, very cool stuff. Creepy number 13. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit that like button as well. And we'll see you next time here with more stuff. Bill and I will be back. We've got Bill and I taped a whole bunch of episodes, so I'm kind of interspersing stuff with me in between all the ones that he and I did. So we kind of stretch it all out a little bit, but we'll be getting back together again in about a week and a half. So we'll be recording more stuff. In the meantime, we got lots of things coming here. So stay tuned for more. And I am Pete Pardo from Comic Book Users. See you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.